Hey, Suzanne here with Caregiver Haven. So many of you know me. I've been a physician assistant. I've also been a caregiver advocate, and I have helped many families who work with their seniors, who care for their seniors, get through the medical process, as well as the legal, financial, home living situations, all of those things. So welcome. One of the things I want to talk about today is boundaries, because many of you feel like you may have a boundary problem, but you don't. What you have is a boundary processing problem. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, from rules to routines, I want you to think about the routines that you value. And instead of saying something like, no more late night calls, phone calls, or something like that, or no more waking me up in the middle of the night, okay? Because you need your sleep too. But explain that. Why is that important to you? And we know from psychology experiments that when you give a reason, the other person tends to understand it better. So what I want you to do is I want you to state the routine, name the why, and offer an alternative, okay? So let's say that, for instance, you put your phone down. I'm going to be putting my phone down at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning if you need to call me, unless it's an emergency, okay? If it's an emergency, I need you to call 911 first before you call me, so here's the why, so they can get started on the road, and then I can meet you. They will call me, okay? They need to know who the emergency contact is, so they can call me. But in emergencies, you always use 911 first, so they can get started on the road to get to you, and I'll get to you. In the meantime, don't forget, I'm shutting off my phone so I can get a good night's sleep. Those are some of the boundaries. That's an example of one boundary, I should say, that you could put in place. Explain the why behind it. I need my sleep. Okay? And when you're going to be up again for that person, and then when you can answer the phone again. All right, another shift from no to choices. This is something that many folks don't know that they can do. But when raising children, many times, and even as a high school science teacher, there were times when the students just balked at something, or my kids just balked at something, and it was no. And giving them choices. Okay, you want to do this, but would this be better? So let's apply it to caregiving, right? Let's say that mom's supposed to take a bath on Tuesday morning, or a shower. She gets her hygiene in on Tuesdays and Saturdays, or Tuesdays and Fridays. And she wakes up on Tuesday morning and she says, I'm not doing it. She does not want that shower. Well, you give her choices. Instead of she's going to say, I can't. You're going to say, would 10 o'clock, would after breakfast be better? Or would you like tomorrow after breakfast? Or would you like a 10-minute sponge bath? Or would you like a shower after breakfast? Okay? And give them, again, this, when you're giving them these choices, and say, the reason I'm picking this is because I know you're hungry. Let's get you some breakfast. And then we can take our time and not be rushed for the shower, okay? Or you can say, I know that a sponge bath might be better for you today because of the weather outside. It's just not a warm day for any of us. These are things that we have to explain. We have to explain them to people. And then a shift number 3, from emotion to data. So let's say that your sibling comes to you and says that they can't take mom to the doctor in the afternoon, but they'll give you an opportunity to well, I just can't take her in the afternoon. And you say, well, hold up. I have an energy level. My energy level is best in the morning, not in the afternoon. Now we can switch this, but it'll take months to get mom back into the doctor. So what I would like to do is I would like to do all my energy, the complicated tasks, the more complex tasks in the morning when I have the highest energy. And I've talked about this in several videos before, because what I've said is you've got to do the most complicated tasks when you get an idea of when your energy is the highest. Those are the times when you're going to plow through these complicated chores, okay? So when is that for you? And again, when you explain this, you don't have to say things like, oh, I just can't do it. I'm just not there emotionally. You can't say that. Nobody's going to buy into that. But when you give them the facts and you say, my energy isn't there, it isn't a good fit for me right now. Or let's say you've promised somebody else in your family that you would be there for them at that time, and your sibling says, I can't take her. You can say, you know what, I totally understand that. I know there's things that come up. I'm not going to be able to take her either. I have a previous commitment. And I promise you, over the years that I have done caregiving, 9 times out of 10, the other person says, oh, never mind, I'll take her anyway. So when you have a commitment, whether it's to yourself or whether it's to another family member, and you cannot do it, and you say, you know what, I can't either. So I guess, I don't know what we'll do. And you stop talking. 9 times out of 10, they say, never mind, I'll do it too. So this is just some of the things that we're going to learn in the course. So go ahead and register for it. It's brief videos on how to be able to save these boundaries, how to have safe boundaries for you and your loved one and your family members, so everybody's on the same page. We talk about that. So go ahead and register below to join the wait list. It's limited, how many members, how many students I can take. The thing has grown so large that I want to be able to individualize it for everybody, I guess. So I can only do so much. But go ahead and put your name on the wait list, because you'll be one of the first notified when I do open the course for registration again. So take care. We'll talk soon. And I appreciate everything you do for yourself and for your loved one. Take care.